Hi. I've tried to make this video a couple of times actually in the last few weeks, and it has been incredibly difficult for me to find an emotional center point to what I want to say, because truthfully I work amongst many people of color and I look them in the face every day, and seeing the conversations being had in the last few weeks and the atrocious and horrible killing of another person of color at the hands of cops it's been hard to look them in the face at work and go and say, how can I help you? How can I make this feel better? And for me, I don't like using the word ally because truthfully, it feels like lip service. It feels like it's a good pat on the back for me to say, yay, I actually was woke and took advantage of being knowledgeable and was able to affect some political change, and it drives me nuts. I used to work in marketing, and so we always used to talk about activations and keywords that would make things sound like they would be able to activate a human being to do what we wanted them to do. I gained a very thick skin through that time, and it frustrates me now because I want to help my friends. But at the end of the day, I'm a guest in this conversation. I'm a guest in a conversation because that lived experience is not my own. This month is Pride Month, and for my community, this is supposed to be a joyous and amazing time. And so instead of sitting in a pity party of, I'm sad that Pride isn't happening this year, I need to activate my pride in a different way. And so for me to be effective in this conversation, I need to look to my own community. According to the Human Rights Campaign, nearly 16 transgender and gender nonconforming individuals have been killed this year, majority of which have been individuals of color. To be a trans woman of color in this country is to be one of the single most oppressed populaces in this nation. When I was working in marketing, I was introduced to a kind of concept generally around the length of time that you would have a certain item in someone's head. And it's this notion of, if you don't have the news cycle, maybe 3 to 4 weeks at most, you lose people's attention, or the news starts carrying on without you and the world keeps spinning. In this age of digital media and social media, where news can actually travel at the speed of the story, it is so easy to taint the actual idea, and it's so easy for one to disrupt the nature of what the conversation is trying to be. And something about the news media, something about media in general, and our ability to access the news really hinders our ability to have these deep conversations sometimes. It has astonished me how these stories get buried in the miasma and the deluge of other things going on. And it's easy for me to get enraged at our own president, who seemingly spends most of his time trying to take away our rights. In the midst of a pandemic, a person now has the option and the right to deny me, to say nothing of a trans person or gender nonconforming of color, the option to deny them health care simply because of their deeply held beliefs. It is discouraging. And as discouraging as it is for me to sit here and read these stories and to feel outraged and saddened that my community is being assassinated constantly, it's nothing compared to the lived-in experience that some people wake up with every day. And how are we expecting them to care when they don't see it and they don't know about it? I feel too often, because of that lack of a news cycle, that we often lose their names in the deluge of all the other things that are happening in this world. And that terrifies me, because these people were human beings. They had parents, they had friends, they had so many emotions and memories. They had opportunities and a whole lifetime ahead of them. The easiest to point to is the beginning of the Stonewall riots. Marsha Johnson, she helped lead this near revolution for LGBTQ rights, this history that seems to oftentimes forget her. I don't see how it's so easy to. I could talk about Monica Diamond, black transgender woman from Charlotte, North Carolina, killed this year. She was also the co-CEO of an International Mother of the Year pageantry system. in a pageant that honors LGBTQ mothers. I could talk to you about Joanna Metzger, transgender woman killed in Baltimore, Maryland. I could talk to you about Serena Ramos, 32, was killed in Puerto Rico. I could talk to you about Layla Sanchez, also another death in Puerto Rico. I could talk to you about Penelope Diaz Ramirez. I could talk to you about Nina Pop, a black transgender woman killed in Missouri. I could tell you about Kelly O'Regan, a 20-year-old transgender woman killed in San Antonio, Texas. I could talk to you about Tony McDade, a black transgendered man killed in Tallahassee, Florida. I could talk to you about Dominique Fells, another black transgender woman killed in Philadelphia. I could talk to you about Rhea Milton, a 25-year-old black transgender woman killed in Liberty Township, Ohio. I could talk to you about Jane Thompson, Selena Hernandez, a 37-year-old transgender woman killed in Chicago on May 31st. Literally 5 weeks ago. And for as many names that are on so many of these tracking lists, I can't help but think that there are tons more that just aren't being reported about, and the media of today cannot be troubled to bring it to the forefront of the conversation. The easiest way for me to help activate another person is to just get them to say the names. I'm trying to get them to wrap their head around the idea that despite what they may feel about a trans person, even though they may disagree with this person being trans, this person should not be killed because they are trans. That is the point. I can't scream loud enough about the fact that no one says their names. They're just nameless faces just dying every single day. Here in Portland, we have so much political activism, and yet such a massive history of white supremacy, and I feel helpless oftentimes. I feel anxious and angry that for so many years I enabled these conversations and this system to oppress other people. And really what I want to accomplish with this is just to cause you to take a look at yourself and how you activate yourself, how you can get yourself to care about another human being that you've never met. Because I promise you, that is the greatest power you have, is the ability to care and affect change to someone you don't know. We're not good people because we try hard. We're good people because we do it. We wake up every single day and we do what is right. I can't force you to be a good person. If you're watching this video and it feels out of the realm of your ability, know that you're not alone. And there are easy ways to activate yourself. Social media and social justice activism have really enabled an amazing tool for people to have the ability to get their ideas out there. And even though at times their comment sections are dumpster fires of hate and deluge of bigotry, it still has the ability to affect change. And I have no option to be tired right now, because truthfully, there are people who live this day in and day out. And for as exhausted as I am talking about and having these conversations and having these anxieties, it's nothing compared to the actual exhaustion that someone who lives this experience feels on a daily basis. And I can sit here and I can cry about it, and I can sit here and honest to God pay lip service to the news cycles that seemingly will just toss these stories under the rug. But I can't do that. Not anymore. And it's too easy for me to say that I can't do that. And so what do? I need to activate myself daily. I need to go to the ballot box. I need to activate others in this conversation and get them to understand that this is happening not just these last 4 weeks. It's happened for years. To really be effective in this conversation, I need to elevate the voices of others who have come before me and who are fighting this fight every day. I need to work within myself, because if I don't call it and I let it happen, my silence is the complacency that is enabling this system to exist in the first place. As frustrated as I am with the situation, I'm entirely more frustrated with myself for having enabled it in the first place. And I want to close with this. I live by this creed. Failure, in all of its complexity, spares no man the shame of memory. What does this mean? It means that I have to live with what I'm not doing every single day. I have the ability to ignore these conversations. I have the ability to just go to work and go about my life and be complacent in this system that I helped build. But it won't spare me the memory of having the regret. It will not spare me the regret later on in life when I remember that I didn't do anything. Because I can't stop time from moving forward. I can't stop my life from moving forward. The world has to continue spinning. And I only have so many years to help adjust this fight until I have no room left for myself. And so for you, the viewer, if you're watching this at home, if you're seeing it, whatever time you're seeing it in, there's great ways to activate yourself. I'm going to leave a number of info and a number of resources in the description, but I assure you, the more that people start to help, the easier and the better this conversation is going to be. We have a real chance right now in our lifetimes to help affect change for the civil rights movement in this country, to say nothing of this world. And we have, honestly, no one to blame but ourselves if we don't actually take the opportunity. I'm going to leave a link to a number of studies in the description of this video. I'm going to leave a number of petitions that you can sign and ways that you can start gaining knowledge to help this fight. Because this is the only way that I know how that I can be effective in this conversation. It's easy to discount the lives of others when you are not seeing them.